So my name is Katharina Miller. I am the research director of MIC. MIC is a law firm. In fact, it's a spin-off of a Horizon 2020 project, which was called Path2Integrity. And it's a spin-off, a law firm which is involved in research, in innovation and technology. And in fact, we have been involved in projects related to research integrity and with open science and reproducibility. And as a law firm, we also offer services related to intellectual property rights. So we are really in the interface between both the intellectual property rights and open science. And I think this is very unique. Yeah, it's a very good question to ask which intellectual property rights we know which could boost open science, and I think this is a very difficult question, to be honest. And I would love to reply to this question with 3 cases, real scenarios that happened to us. And the first case is that of a book which was published open access and had a DOI number. However, the editorial, after 1 year of having published the book open access, disappeared because it was bought by another company, by another editorial, and with this buying of this editorial, the DOI number disappeared. So we did not really know what to do, and this is a real-life scenario, and which could happen to anyone nowadays. And that was really the question: how to protect the authors, the co-authors' rights, in order to recover their DOI numbers and their chapters, their book chapters. So in this case, we were lucky enough that the new editorial, or the editorial which bought the other one, published again the book with the DOI numbers, but this could happen to anyone else in the future, so be aware of it. That would be case number 1. So the second case, or second scenario, is that of: imagine that you want to prepare your PowerPoint presentation and you would like to engage the stakeholders with lovely images or lovely input. And you go to Google and you just take any image without caring for licenses. That you should not do. However, the second point would be to get the permission, the license to doing so, and on the other hand, to use the scientific copyrighted labels. And there, I think most of us don't really know how to use them correctly. So this would be a second case. And the third case is that we are all now invited to use fair data, to be as open as possible. And I myself learned only yesterday that our perception is that we all are very open and think we share our data, but in fact we don't do it. So maybe there we really have, on a long run, first of all, realize how we are working, question ourselves, and wake up the others, or ask the others how they are working. And if we think they don't work in a fair, principled way, to somehow invite them to see how they could work in a fair, principled, open way. And I think this is really a challenge. So as I said before, the challenges really lie, first of all, in ourselves, because it seems that our own perception is very different from how we interact with others, especially when we do research. And it seems that we are far more jealous of our own information than we think we are. And to realize this, I think this is the biggest challenge of all. Also, to not get lost, because now there seems to be a hype on open science and intellectual property rights and how to get them together. And maybe we should ask ourselves why is this so important? So not to forget the bigger image, the big picture, why we are doing this and why we think it's important to do this. And on the other hand, and that I say as a lawyer, laws are made by human beings. They are not written in stone. So maybe it's time to rethink the way we have been doing things and we have been regulating things. And so the new contract maybe should come now, and it's in our hands to start this new contract for a research environment which is inclusive and open. Yeah, I think capacity building is the first step in order to make people see that there is an issue, that there is something that we all have been doing which is maybe not good for us as a society. So the first thing is to raise awareness and then also to give the opportunity to the others to further develop their own capacities. And that's, I think, IP4OS, or I hope that IP4OS is an important participant, an important driver to make this happen, this change happen.